Hello, my name is Max. With today is Hobie.
Hello.
And we're reviewing Game of Thrones episode The Climb. It was on yesterday. What did you think?
Well, again, I don't think I've not liked an episode yet, and it goes the same. Not the best one.
Yeah, I didn't think it was as good as the last 2 weeks, but it was still decent.
But yeah, it is exactly. It's more exposition. It's building up more.
Yeah. We'll start with the first scene with Sam.
Yeah.
And he's with a ghillie, and he's running towards the wall. What do you think of that scene?
I didn't understand. Why is it going back to the wall? Is it just to get out of the north?
Yeah, to get back to Castle.
But I don't know. I'd have liked a bit more to see. Like, what is he going back to the wall to run off with this girl, or is he going back to become part of the Night's Watch again? And he's just saved the girl because he could.
Well, yeah, it's that, I think, because he can't. He doesn't expect to desert the Night's Watch.
Yeah.
And I don't think he has the balls to.
He wouldn't dare.
Yeah, but obviously he wants to, because obviously he wants a peace.
Yeah.
I thought that scene was literally only, I'll remember Sam, he's doing this, and remember the sword he's got in his hand, the dragon glass sword. Yeah. That was literally the point of that scene. We'll move on to Jon. He's with the wildlings. He's getting ready to climb the wall. I put myself in his shoes, and I was dreading it, because I have to say, me and Hobie went on holiday last summer, and we did rock climbing, and I literally couldn't do it, and I was just thinking, how the hell, if I was in this situation,
I wouldn't. You wouldn't be able to. It's 700 feet.
You'd have to, because you can't say, look guys, I'm stepping out, leave me out of this one.
I know what you mean.
I just felt like he was trapped, and I felt the trappedness.
Because at the end of the day, he's back at, I hate using the word wall because it's going to come up so much, but his back's against the wall because Ygritte obviously knows that he's not
I like
he's
that.
Still a crow.
Yeah, I found that a bit interesting, that she's not as stupid as she is making out. I quite like that. I don't think that wasn't in the books. Yeah. But
so he has to go up, he has to climb this ridiculous 700 foot high thing, and it's like you say, when you said he was trapped, because it's very, what's he gonna do now? Is he? At what point is he gonna make his move? Because he's gonna have to do something, whether it be kill crows or wildlings. He's gonna have to make a move against someone soon, or he'll get to the point where it'll be chosen for him. Sort of.
Yeah. Well, if I was him, I would have just said, "All right, you agree? Let's just run away. I'll stay with you."
Yeah, but that's why you're not Jon Snow, because he has honour and such.
Yeah, I have to say, I love Tormund Giantsbane. I love him. I think he's perfect for the role.
Just seeing if you can take a hit.
Yeah. We'll move on to the rest, because we'll just talk about it from character to character. The bit where Ygritte slams the pike into it, and then me and you would have fallen off the wall. And obviously Tormund's holding all three of them. Yeah. There's just little things I just like about him. And I like the way he said throat when he insulted him, saying, if I catch you lying, I'm going to pull out your guts through your throat.
The guy that Jon Snow met I think it was last episode or the episode before, who can take control of his bird.
Orel, yeah.
Don't like him.
Or Gareth from The Office. Yeah, you're not meant to like him, but
I was thinking when they got to the top, they'd slash him up or something.
So yeah. Well, but he's a character you shouldn't like, but he
did the right thing, any climber would say.
Yeah.
He cut the rope.
And he's more savvy than Tormund, because he realises, not to trust Jon Snow. Yeah, we'll move on to the end, where Ygritte and Jon Snow reach the top. And I like that scene, because you get to see
both north and south.
Yeah, that's a good scene.
Moving. It's rare in Game of Thrones that you get a moment that's like, oh.
Yeah.
Usually it's people dying or getting molested by their brothers or God knows what.
Yeah, fingers getting cut off. We'll move on to Arya.
The Brotherhood.
And Melisandre comes out of nowhere.
Yeah.
I thought that was interesting. And it sort of opened up a new bit on the book, because that's completely not true in the book. That doesn't happen, because the reason of it is, there's a character in the books called Edric Storm, who's blood of Baratheon, I think he's another of Robert's bastards. So they needed to, because they don't have him in the TV show, they needed to replace him with Gendry, right. And they needed somehow of getting them together. I mean, I can see where it makes sense, because there's no point in introducing another character when you've got established character there, yeah. And I like Gendry. I wanted to see more of him, because in the books he's literally nobody, and he's obviously more in the TV series. So
it's as if they've combined Storm and Gendry.
Basically, yeah. What I liked was when Melisandre, Thoros and Beric were talking, and Thoros and Mira was talking about how he didn't believe in God until he met Beric, and he said the words not because he believed him, just because he's his friend. I did like that.
He brought that to life.
I did.
He's a good actor.
Yeah. I do think Arya's getting a bit lippy.
Yeah. But she always was, wasn't she?
Yeah,
she was always.
But she's getting more.
Now she's like.
She's going up to the Hound, telling him to die. Going up to this Red Witch, getting in her face.
Grabbing the Red Witch. If you hurt him, sort of thing, make him threats. I don't think she actually threatened the Red Witch.
No, but she gave her a cold stare.
It was good. That the Red Witch, I don't trust her.
Yeah,
I'm on Davos' side. I don't trust her. But and when she said to Gendry, when he was like, "Oh, you said we were a brotherhood," which I was like, "Yeah, these aren't noble people because they're selling out one of their brothers for gold at the end of the day. No matter how much they want to tell themselves."
But otherwise. That's why I also like Thoros, because he doesn't. Less honest people would say, "No, we're doing it for our god," but he said, "No, it's a bit of both. No, we need the gold.
We need the gold." Yeah. Yeah, but when the Red Witch was like, "But you have the potential to be, you're gonna be worth so much more than any of them," sort of thing. And likewise, when she said to Arya, "We'll meet again. I'm looking at you, and all I see is dark, but the colours of eyes that you're gonna kill."
Didn't you notice the music? Those little twangs of Jaqen, the assassin. You heard little soundtracks of him, so that was interesting. Quite like that. We'll move on to Theon getting tortured. What do you think of that scene? Because I obviously quite liked it.
Yeah.
But I did think I have a fear, because I'm not going to spoil it. I know who that character is. That he obviously for some reason the series doesn't want to reveal who he is, and I'm not going to reveal to you who he is. But I've got a little bit of thing that the character, the actor, he might overdo it. The sadistic laughs and the smiles and stuff like that.
He's got very crazy eyes.
He has good eyes. That's why he's been cast, because that character has to have light blue eyes. But what I'm fearing is that he's going to do too much with it. I think he needs to rein in a bit, because it wouldn't surprise me if he starts going doing that, and I hope he doesn't. And I think he's too good looking for the character. The character in the books is sort of quite ugly.
Yeah, but that's with every single character you've mentioned that you say they're too good looking. Of course they are, because they're on TV.
I know
no one wants to watch a band of ugly people.
Well, Daenerys is, she's probably better looking in the books. Cersei's probably better looking.
It's just the guys, is it then?
Yeah, well, no, it's just him. He's too good looking. But yeah, what did you think of that scene?
It is interesting, because it's the idea of he's not being evil, he's just crazy. And I know that sounds like a silly distinction to make, but I think the Hound evil, the Mountain evil.
You think the Hound evil? Do you?
Well, sort of evil.
You like the Hound?
Well, I think
this guy's more sadistic.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Sadistic. The Hound would just cleave a man and think nothing of it, but this guy seems to be enjoying the torture of it.
Yeah. It'd be interesting to see why is he doing it?
Why is he doing
because
it? What's his motivation?
He seems to have got the information he wants. So why is he doing it? Apart from maybe the only reason why he's doing it is for fun.
Pleasure,
we'll move on to Robb. He's with the Frey
sons, weren't they?
Yeah,
or were
I
they
think
just
they're sons or grandsons or something like that. Or they're just messages. They didn't say, but they're arranging a wedding. And what I didn't like is they're giving Edmure a hard time, because he says you'll be married to Roslyn or whatever her name is, and he's like, what does she look like? And they're like, what do you mean? What does it matter? It's like,
it's nice.
It's nice coming from you, Rob.
Yeah.
Why didn't you marry one of them? You got I was just if I was him, I would have kicked off, but I would have got beaten up.
It's like the laws of what? Because Blackfish says it himself. He says the laws of man and God say you can't force another.
No,
man
that was Edmund saying.
Yeah. But then Blackfish was like, well, here's the law of my fist. I was like, all right,
punch him then. It's not my fault. We'll move on to Roose Bolton. He's at the dinner table with Jaime and Brienne.
Weird seeing Brienne not in armour.
Yeah. In a dress. Yeah. But I like that because obviously they purposely made that dress not fit her and sort of, hideous. But it was a good scene because what I liked is no matter how Lannisters, they usually can talk their way into getting out stuff and they usually threaten people. Yeah. But Jaime tried to threaten him. Yeah. But he just kept coming back with saying stuff like, when Jaime said, I insist on bringing Brienne with me.
You're not in much of a position to
I'm surprised you're insisting. Yeah. We'll move on to Tywin and Alina, the Queen of Thorns. I thought that was a really good scene.
Yeah. And it's powerful people playing powerful games.
I actually did laugh out loud to the bit when she said he's a sword swallower. I thought that was funny because I think I think they've done is they've realised that Diana Rigg is so good in that role. They need to just add any scene with her in because they did that with Tywin in the first 2 series, and now they're doing it with her. Do you reckon they could get together? Like they could
It would solve everyone's problems, wouldn't it?
Yeah. I mean, why don't they do that? I mean, Tywin wants to marry off someone. Why don't he marry himself off to the Queen of Thorns? I did think the power plays was good in that scene when he mentioned Loras's night activities, and then she comes back with
but look at your daughter. Yeah.
And at that point, I was like, "Oh, what's going on?"
Your mama sucks.
Yeah. We'll move on to Sansa talking with Loras. I mean, it was a brief scene. It's just one of those scenes where it was there to heighten the fall.
Jesus, yeah.
Obviously, when later on Tyrion goes to Sansa and says, "I don't know how to say this."
Pretty awkward, but
yeah, we'll move on to probably the best scene of the episode for me. Littlefinger talking with Varys in the Iron Throne room. Good scene, and it ended with
possibly one of the best speeches you'll ever hear.
Yeah, it was a good speech. But what did it signify that he wanted?
It sort of implied he wanted to be on
chaos.
the throne.
Like
he wanted to master chaos. That's what because when the idea was that chaos was a ladder, not a pit.
Yeah.
And he wants to master that ladder. He wants to get to the top.
Yeah, so he wanted to cause chaos so he can
rule.
Yeah,
I imagine.
Yeah, which Varys said that, didn't he? In a previous episode, he said he'll see the realm burn if he could sit on top of the ashes. He realised, he says that Ros was a bad investment. So he says,
introducing Joffrey again to the fact that he hasn't changed.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter how much Marjorie Tyrell tries to make him nice.
Yeah. I was like, blimey. Yeah. That's a big moment because that was his first kill. Yeah. So I'm thinking, is he going to just go mental afterwards? Is he just going to be like, kill everyone? Because he's just going to take
another
the taste.
King? Yeah. I don't understand why. I'd like to have heard the conversation between Joffrey and the Littlefinger going, I've got this whore that's getting out of hand and you need to kill someone. You know what I mean? Because surely you just hire someone to get rid of her, or you'd get rid of her in other means. I can't picture the conversation that would lead to her getting tied up in his bedroom and him shooting her with a crossbow.
Well, what it was he wants to get in his favour. So I don't know. So he probably realised, he probably knows through his spies that Joffrey's, getting the bloodlust. So he said, have fun with her, shoot her. I don't know. Yeah, it is a good point. How did he propose that arrangement? Yeah. I suppose the writers don't care.
It's just a big jump. And when you've got such brilliant characters and speeches, like when Littlefinger's speech about the ladder and instead of a pit. it make it hard for someone like me anyway, who never speaks like that, who's not articulate at all. How could you just go from point A to point B like that?
I don't know. Email in. What do you think? That was our review of the Climb episode in Game of Thrones. Love to hear from you. Subscribe and comment. What was your favourite scene? What was your favourite line from this episode? But for me and Hobie, thanks for listening.
Cheers, bye.